Hey guys, so I haven't done one of these before, but I was looking at some videos the other day recently, and I actually had fucking not realized it was kind of a good idea, but yeah, I kind of felt like making one of these. So I thought I'd make one on like the knives first, because that's I feel like the most popular of the ones I've seen, but I'll probably do a I don't know how you do like a gloves tier list. Maybe I'll do like the type of gloves, like the specialist and like the sport gloves and the moto gloves, like that kind of shit. Uh, but yeah, I'll probably do a bunch of these, just because actually they seem like they'd be really fun to do. So, and I've done obviously some like tier lists. I've probably done 3 or 4 before. I think I did a couple on Eminem albums. What did I do on recently? Like video games or some shit, just like franchises. But yeah, also the thing isn't like um fucking centered for some reason. I don't know why, but I couldn't really figure out, so I was too lazy to do it. Try to figure out how to get back or whatever. So I was like, oh fuck it, whatever. But yeah. So we got all the knives in the game currently as of June 2022. I'm sure they probably won't add another knife soon. It'll probably be quite a while before they add another one. Just because they usually tend to go quite a while without adding them, and then they'll add like 5 at one time or whatever. But yeah. So most of these knives on this list I haven't owned because I've kind of owned. Well, I still have I have two knives right now, and one of them I've had for like 6 years. So before that, I had like 3 or 4 knives, 5 knives in like a 7 month span. So the first 7 months I was playing the game, I kind of went back and forth between different knives, but I basically had the same knife, and then I got another one more recently. But yeah. So actually, I've also unboxed 2 knives too, which I never used really because they were like both ass. But yeah, so we'll start from the left with the Navage knife. Never owned one. I don't think they are anywhere as bad as people think they are, but I'd probably put it at um below mid. I'd probably put it at bad still, probably. Yeah, most people would probably put it at the worst one, but I'd probably still put it at bad. It's too small, honestly, and the pull-out animation isn't great. Yeah, it's kind of just like a really shitty flip knife, in my opinion. But yeah, I never had one of these, and I never will get one. But yeah, and then we got the bayonet. I've had a bayonet. The first knife I ever had was a Minimaware blue steel bayonet, and I had it for probably 3 months or something. Yeah. Looking back when I bought my first knife, I don't know what I was thinking. I think I maybe just went on the market and just kind of bought the first knife I saw because I fucking hate bayonets. I'm gonna put it in this one. I honestly think it's maybe the worst knife in the game. I just hate the pull-out animation. It's so ugly. And it's too long and skinny. It's just and the fucking like the knife, like when you just right click or left click, like everything about the knife, I think is really fucking ugly. It makes sense that they put it in the game because I don't know, bayonet's just a really popular type of knife. But and it's obviously I don't blame them for adding it in the game, but I just think it's really fucking ugly. I think the worst possible knife you get is like a bayonet tiger tooth. Like I think that shit is disgusting. Um, but yeah. Then we got the butterfly knife, which I will put in the A tier. I've had a butterfly knife vanilla actually, and I sold it for like $200, and now they're worth like 2 grand. Which is shitty, but I ended up selling this and another knife I had. It was a Karambit, but at the time, which would have been like over 6 years ago, 6 years, couple months, something like that. But yeah, and the knife I got in return, the flip knife Marble Fade Fire and Ice, did go up quite a bit, and I also did buy it off the market, so I made like instant money right off the bat because I paid like literally like barely more than market price, which is hilarious because that shit would never happen nowadays. But yeah, still like the only thing I've ever lost money on is the butterfly bayonet and fucking gold fallen sticker and box. They sold for like $300, and now they like routinely sell for like 1,300. So those are like the only 2 skins that I've ever actually lost money on. But I don't really feel too bad because I don't really like butterfly knives a whole lot. Like in my opinion, for the butterfly knife might be the only knife that looks the best in the vanilla, other than maybe the classic knife also. Classic knife and the butterfly knife are two knives that I really like in vanilla. I also do like the shadow daggers in vanilla; those are decent too. Um, but yeah, I think the butterfly knife vanilla does look really good, and it's probably my favorite of the butterfly knife. Still shitty that I sold it, but I don't really, I don't really dick ride butterfly knives as hard as a lot of people do. They're nice, but um, fucking, I don't know. People just like to ride like hype trains and shit. Cause I mean, where were these people 4 or 5 years ago when they were fucking 10 times cheaper than they are now? Um, but yeah, still like the knife. Best thing about it is probably the noise, just the pull out noise and the inspect noise. I really do like that noise. I don't know if you could even hear that, but um, yeah. Other than that, nothing is like, I don't know. It's a really good knife, but it's yeah. I don't think it's the best. I don't even think it's top three to be honest. But yeah, and then we got the. I think this is the survival knife. I always get this one, and this one mixed up. I think this is the Nomad. I think this is the survival, and I think this is the paracord. They're all like kind of super similar. I know this one's a bit smaller, but they're very similar with how they just look and how they're super fucking blind to me. But I'm pretty sure this is the survival, and I'm also gonna put that at bad. I honestly uh can't remember. I think this is the one that flips when you pull it out. I can't really remember. All the new knives are shit in my opinion of the new ones that came out, except I do like the skeleton and the stiletto. I mean, kind of a fucking spoiler or whatever, but yeah, I honestly can't fully think. I probably should have looked up fucking videos on couple of those knives before I fucking did this, but whatever. So yeah, I know I don't like it that much. Same thing with the paracord. Um, I'd probably put in bad. Yeah, if I was to rank them, I'd probably put them like that too. I guess I don't really know. I honestly, these two knives are really like. I never see anybody with them, and I would never buy one, so I don't know. But yeah. Yeah. And then we got the classic knife. The thing is, in 1.6, it looks really dope, and like I think this is the knife in Source too, right? Honestly, can't remember. I'm just trying to fucking think. Hmm. I probably have to put the classic knife in A. I actually do like the classic knife. I do think it's pretty good. Maybe even in mid. I should probably change the name of. I probably should have fucking changed that to fucking. I don't know, whatever. Um, but yeah, I'd probably put classic knife in between one of these, but I don't think it's mid. I think it's better than mid. So fuck. I probably should have changed this. Shit. Nah, actually that's good enough. Yeah, I'm gonna put it here because I do think it's a pretty decent knife. But yeah, I would say but I like the butterfly knife still more. But then we got the falchion knife, which I actually unboxed a minimal wear Damascus steel falchion knife. That was the first knife I ever unboxed. That was 3.5 years ago, I think. And currently the showcase video on it, I think it's like 50K views or something like that. It's like my most. I think it's my it's my most viewed video on my channel. But yeah, I don't like the falchion knife at all. I think it's really ugly. The inspect animation, it might have the coolest inspect animation in the game out of all the knives when you hold it flat in your hand, in your palm. That's a really cool inspect animation, but everything else about this knife is fucking ugly as shit. The way it looks, it just looks so gross. The pull-out animation, everything. That's literally why, like, all the falchion cases I have had, I have fucking sold them or just kept them and waiting to sell them and like never unboxed them because I do not want to get another falchion knife. Like, I don't care if it's a fucking like it'd have to be like a goddamn sapphire for me to be like fucking worth opening them. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna probably put that in my eyes are bleeding also because I think the falchion knife is fucking ass, but I do think it's slightly better than the bayonet to be honest, just because of the inspect. The inspect really like is good enough to honestly put it below mid because it is really good, but it's a rare inspect. Like it really, in my opinion, doesn't add a whole lot to the knife. It's really cool, but like not like it's not gonna it's not gonna change the fact that it's ass. I'm sure I can't think of the word I was trying to think of, but yeah. And then we got the flip knife, which I'm gonna put in goated because, well, one, I've had a flip knife forever, but I also think it's the most underrated knife in the game. I always just remember all the fucking clips Kenny has hit with the flip knife. And yeah, it's a really good knife to use with AWP. I've had the flip knife, the Marble Fade Fire and Ice for like, yeah, over 6 years, 6.5 years almost. And this was my only knife for a good 4 years, probably 4 straight years. I just had one knife, and I just had the flip knife. But yeah, I am planning on getting another knife soon. Like a third knife. And kind of swap between the three, because I don't know. I want to get another knife, so I have my 3 favorite knives. I already have my 2 favorite knives in the game, but like I have my second and third favorite knife, but I don't have my favorite knife, so I want to get that. But yeah, uh, yeah. The flip knife doesn't have anything like really special about it. It doesn't have a really cool fucking inspect or anything. I mean, none of the old knives do, except I guess the butterfly maybe. But yeah, I don't know. I just think I like how it's simple, and I really like the pull-out animation. It is really simple. It's just a blade coming out of the like little fucking handle thing, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. It's just a fucking really nice knife. I don't know. It works a lot. It looks really nice with, like I said, like fire and ice or like sapphires and shit. They look really nice in the flip knife. And I think it's the best small blade knife in the game for sure. I mean, I don't know what actually you'd really consider small blade. This is what I consider small blade: is the flip knife, the butterfly, the Navage, and I guess the shadow daggers and like the skeleton knife and the stiletto. Those are like the only knives I would consider small knife, a small blade or whatever. But yeah. So yeah, goated. Yeah, I've only had one. Oh no, I also, the second knife I unboxed, which was last year, about a year ago, was a battle scarred flip knife, rust coat, which yeah, I called it when I was opening. I'm like, yeah, I'm about to get a knife here. I said that when me and my friends on the Discord, and then I actually unboxed it, but it was only worth like $130. I think the Falchion knife I ended up selling for like 170 or something. So at least they're not horrendous, like $70 knives, but they're both, I would consider, like low tier knives for sure. But yeah, I ended up selling that and the Falchion knife. I'd never used either of them in game or anything. I kept on to the Falchion knife for like, I don't really remember, a few months maybe, and the rust coat I think I sold like pretty instantly. Um, but yeah, yeah. Okay, and then we got the gut knife. Now the gut knife is another knife I think is actually pretty underrated. I would honestly put the gut knife at below mid. Um, I do like the pull-out animation, how it flips like that. How it like spins. I'm trying to think of what's another knife that does that. Definitely another knife in the game that does that, right? The Huntsman does that, right? I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Huntsman flips like that too. Um, Trying to think of another knife that does that. I want to say the Huntsman, and I think that's like the only knife in the game that has that pull-out animation, other than I think the Huntsman. Um, yeah. Trying to think. I have a kind of a bad memory with some of the knives, like the Nomad survival knife and some of the newer knives, because I don't really see a whole lot of people with them. I've never owned one, and I don't like them particularly. So, yeah. I also have had a gut knife. I had actually. Oh, actually no. I lied when I say I only had the flip knife for that long. Fuck, I can't remember. I always forget that I had this. I had a fire and ice gut knife, Marble Fade also, that I had on my T side, and then I had my flip knife Marble Fade Fire and Ice on my CT, so I had a Fire and Ice on both sides. The gun knife Fire and Ice, it actually looked decent. Like the whole fucking blade, because there's like a lot like from here and all these areas, and then the whole like main blade. Was Fire and Ice, like there was like literally no yellow on it, so it did look really good. I do have a showcase video for that too. But yeah, I don't honestly. I sold that when I went to buy the knife I have now, also. Um, but yeah, I think I maybe had that for like a year. I honestly can't remember. Um, But yeah, I got really I got really bored of it, and then honestly, like, the gut knife is, I would consider a below average knife. Um, Teetering on honestly mid. It's not that bad of a knife. I think people fucking hella underrate the knife. And think the gut knife's like the worst knife in the game. I definitely don't think it is. It's definitely, looking at it, not great. Like, I kind of like that fish fucking tail thingy going on here. I don't mind that, but the whole blade and the look of it is like, it is pretty mid. The pull-out animation's dope, but yeah. So yeah, below mid. And then we got the Karambit, which I would put as the best knife in the game, honestly. Spoiler. But yeah, it's not really like a fucking, what's the word? Not controversial, obviously. Not like a. I'm so bad at remembering words when I need to. It's a pretty basic ass pick. Most people put the Karambit as their favorite knife. It's just, it looks the best. I think it has the best pull-out animation. I think it just looks the best, especially in a higher view model. To be honest, I don't get how people could own some of the like knives and like use the default view model. It literally covers up half the fucking knife when you're running and shit. That's why I have a higher view model, so I can see the full skin and shit, and it just looks way better. Like on my view model, when you have the Karambit, especially, you can see both your hands, and they're like really high up in the air. I don't use Gangster because I know a lot of my friends are always like, "Oh yeah, it looks like you use Gangster." It's lower. It's quite a bit lower than Gangster, but it is high up. And I've always kind of wanted the view models you'll see in some of the frag movies and shit that you can't get and you can't use in actual games. You could go into like a custom game, use SV_cheats and get it, but I've always wanted one of those super fucking like quaked out FOVs because I really like how they look, but you'd also have to play on 1920. It wouldn't really work with 4x3, which is what I play on, but um yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, the Karambit's the best knife in the game in my opinion. I've had one. It was the other knife when I sold the Butterfly Vanilla and I had a minimal wear Safari Mesh Karambit. And I sold both those like 200 each, and then I ended up buying the flip knife for like 400, which is pretty funny. Back like 6 years ago, I was able to buy a flip knife Marble Fade Fire and Ice for like one of the cheapest on the market for like literally market price. Like now it's literally worth like, I want to say double market price or even more. I know the Marble Fades on the market are like 550 or something like that, and I think the Fire and Ices are probably worth $1,000 or more. I don't really know. They might even be worth as little as like 800. I don't think they're worth anything less than that. I couldn't see that, but if I was to say, I'd say they're probably double or more. I'd say anywhere from $1,000 to 1,500. Because Fire and Ice is like, just because there's so many more people who play the game now, they're so much more valuable and rare. Obviously, I mean, there's more people unboxing cases, so they're being unboxed more, but there's more rich people who are just too lazy to unbox cases and just want the fucking knives right away, right? So, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that either. But shit. But yeah, Karambit's definitely my favorite knife in the game, and I plan on getting a factory new freehand Karambit, which is another thing. I'll probably do a video on like the decals or the decals or whatever they're called, the paints finishes. I think the freehand is the most underrated in the game. I don't know why they're so fucking cheap. In my opinion, they're like top 3 best. I think it's like Marble Fade, Doppler, and Freehand are the 3 best. I don't really think there's anything close. Like in my mind, I can't even think of any other decals I really like. Yeah, I can't really think of one. Oh, the fades on Karambits look really nice. But and they look good on Shadow Daggers, but they look like shit on like the M9, and like they don't really look that nice on the flip knife either. But yeah, so I'm planning on getting that pretty soon. But yeah, and then we got the other knife, the M9 bayonet, which I'd put slightly above the flip knife, but behind the Karambit. I have an M9 flip knife freehand right now, an M9 flip knife. I have an M9 bayonet freehand, factory new right now, and then I plan on getting a factory new freehand. So I have a Karambit and an M9. I'm mincing words like a motherfucker, but Yeah, so I plan on having both of those and then the Marble Fade, and I'll kind of just switch through the three. But yeah, same thing with the M9. M9 probably has, in my opinion, I think actually the M9. I think I might like the pull-out animation better on the M9 than the Karambit, but I like how the Karambit looks better than the M9, and I also like just how you when you're holding it in your hands with the Karambit, it looks really nice. Like I'm doing it in real life. You obviously can't see it, but just the way the person's arms sit, they both are like symmetrical or whatever. And I don't really know how to explain it, but um, yeah. I really like the right click with the fucking Karambit too. It looks really nice. But yeah, the M9 still looks really good too. I would probably say the M9 might have my favorite pull-out animation in the game. It's really basic. It's just a dude pulling it out like um facing the sky. I don't really know, and then like pulling it down like straight. I don't really know how to explain it, but um yeah. So yeah. And then we got this is the Nomad knife. Now this is the one where I'm pretty sure you pull out and the person cuts their finger. I'm pretty sure that's this knife. I would probably put this knife in mid. Uh, it's not a bad knife. Out of all the new knives, I think it's like the only one that they. Mm, what am I talking about? Uh, it's out of all the new knives, I think they have two really good, three really bad, four really bad. I don't really know. Actually, I don't know where I'm going with that. I don't know. I think it's like the most balanced out of all the new knives. I think it's the one where it's like not overly shit, but it's not like amazing or anything. That's why I put it in mid. But yeah. I know they went up in price. I think recently because like Simple used it, which is fucking ridiculous. Not ridiculous that a pro player would have that much like not leverage, but influence. I don't really. I don't know. I feel like you shouldn't really like dick ride people that fucking hard. I feel like you should just go with a knife you like and like I don't know. A pro player using a knife, like I said, I like the Kenny S with the flip knife, which kind of sounds the same. I still really like the knife regardless if he used it or not. It just like adds a bit with the no knife. I feel like and the Nomad knife. I feel like I don't know. I feel like Simple didn't really hasn't really fucking had any like super historic ass plays using the no knife. At least I can't remember any. But yeah. Then we got the Shadow Daggers, which I would put at mid, but I'd put it above the Nomad knife. Yeah. The only thing shitty about them is the pull out. When you pull them out, they actually shake your crosshair, which I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised that they still haven't fixed that. Like fucking 5, 6 years later. I don't know if it's been a problem since they came out. Maybe it's been 7 years, honestly. Um, because they came out about 7 years ago. But yeah, I think they're another really underrated knife. People fucking hate them, but they look. I really like the noise they make when you pull them out. They might have the coolest noise in the game. I think it's even better than the butterfly knife. The little. I can't do the noise, but they sound really cool when you pull them out. Better than the butterfly knife, I'd say. Um, yeah, these knives look really good in, like I said, vanilla, and they actually look extremely good in fade also, and marble fade, which I know most knives do, but especially these look really nice in fade, and marble fade. But yeah, the only thing I can say shitty about them is the crosshair shake. They are really unique that it's the only knife in the game that there's actually two knives. I don't really know why people don't use them more. Um, they are really nice. But they're not like really really nice because I have them in mid. But I probably should have went over this a little bit better. I kind of feel like mid isn't. I feel like this should have been mid, but um, yeah, they are pretty solid. And then we got the skeleton knife, which I would put. I'm trying to think where to put this. Um, I'd probably put an A tier, and I'd probably put above the classic knife, right there. Pretty solid knife. I haven't seen many people with them, but I've seen quite a few. Like every time I've seen somebody with them, they've had it in fade, which looks pretty nice. You could use this knife looks really good. I see a lot of oppers use it, especially, but yeah, the inspect with it when he like twirls his finger through the little fucking hole thing, and you can constantly keep flipping it is really cool. I know they put a lot of emphasis on the newer knives, like secondary inspect animations in their inspects, which is dope. But yeah, don't really have a lot to say. I mean, it's probably the coolest name in the knife, like skeleton knife. That sounds fucking dope. Um, but yeah, I mean, shit. Oh fuck, I didn't mean to do that. But yeah, and then we got the stiletto, which just trying to think. I probably put the stiletto right behind the skeleton knife. I actually do like the stiletto. I like the really thin blade on it. Um, and I like the pull-out animation. And the inspect is cool because he kind of holds it with his his fingers, like the tip of his fingers. I really like that. I'd even put it better than the skeleton, honestly. Because I do like the inspect better. I do like how he like grips it with the tip of his fingers. I really do like that. But I do think the skeleton knife just looks a bit cleaner with the black blade and everything. And I don't know, the default almost. I know I'm not really just grading on the vanillas, but no, I'm gonna put it like that. I think that's pretty good. Then we got the Bowie knife, which I would also slide in the below mid section. I probably put it behind the gut knife. Uh, the knife's really fucking big. And I know what your left hand on most view on at least the vanilla view model. I think with my view model you could probably see the left hand, but I know I've heard people complain about only being able to see the right hand. It's not really right. I don't like it because I'm sure on my view model you'd see the left hand. I think the knife is just too big to be honest. Fucking easily the biggest knife in the game. Um, I don't know. The pull it in animation's like not bad. I mean, he just kind of pulls it in front of him, but I don't mind it. But yeah, the only thing I'd say about it is the knife's just too big to be honest. And then we got the Huntsman knife, which I would put right behind the Nomad probably. Yeah. Um, Huntsman knife's probably like the most fucking like what's the word? What's the word I'm trying to think of? The knife I see the least probably out of the old knives at least. I don't really see a whole lot of the new knives recently, but I don't like see anybody ever with the shadow daggers and the fucking Huntsman knife. I always forget the Huntsman knife's in the game. It's like the most forgettable knife in the game. Um, just because it's like hella like it is hella mid. Like the pull-out animation's cool because it flips. If I remember so, I don't know why I'm not being able to remember that. I've never had a Huntsman. Have I had any of the other knives I talked about? Or did I miss any of them? Huntsman. No, I know one of my friends had Fade Shadow Daggers. That's why I always used to really like them because my friend always had them. Um. No, I haven't had any of those. Let me just. Um. I just want to see if I'm. No, it's definitely the flip fucking animation. Um. But yeah, I know that I know I have looked at Huntsmans in Marble Fade before, and they actually looked pretty good. Some blades just aren't really built for Marble Fade, and they kind of look, I don't know, like mixed and weird, like they do on uh, fuck, I don't know, like butterflies. I don't really like, or like bayonets. I don't really like Marble Fades as much on them, but yeah, they do. Yeah, it does flip. It does flip. Okay. I do like that pull out and the flip, but it is just like a really, I don't know. It doesn't have to have anything special about it. Like I really like the flip knife, and it doesn't have anything special, but it's just like, I don't know. Everything else about other than the pull out animation is just like really bland and like I don't know. But yeah, and then we got the fuck. Which knife is this again? Is it the paracord or is that one of the other ones? Paracord survivalist. No shit. Honest, I gotta look this up. I gotta look this up on my phone. Okay, the Nomad, the no, it's not the paracord, not the survival. The Urus knife. Okay, I always forget the Urus knife. Um, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pop this one in mid also because I kind of do like the blade. It is kind of, I don't know. It is cool, but to be honest, I definitely should have looked this up um before I started this video, like some of the pull-out animations because I kind of forget. Okay. Yeah, I do actually like the pull-out animation. It is pretty cool how he kind of pulls it out and like I don't know, points it back towards him, and the inspec's not bad. It is pretty regular inspect, but I like how his fingers are facing or whatever. So yeah, I'd probably put that in mid. I'd maybe even put that a better than the Huntsman, and I wouldn't put it in front of the Nomad. I really like the fucking finger thing with the Nomad when he pulls out and he like cuts himself. That is a really probably the most unique animation they've added in the game. Just because you're interacting with the character too, which I don't think they have any other knives that really do that. But yeah, would I put him better than the Shadow Dagger? What would I'm trying to think. No, I'd probably put the Shadow Daggers above him still. But yeah, and then we got the last but kind of least, I don't know, the Talon knife. Shit, I wouldn't put it. My eyes are bleeding. No, it's not that fucking bad. I can't take it off. I know a lot of people really like the Talon knife and they think it's like a karambit. I mean, it is obviously. It's very similar to the karambit. You can see there, but it's a very shit version of the karambit. It's does everything the karambit does, but very, very shittily. Much worse. I don't. That was terrible wording. The blade is bigger, which I do not like. I do not like the little holes in it. I don't like the divots, like these things. I don't like the color. I know it's vanilla, I guess. Doesn't really matter. But I don't like the color of this, which is always the same. I don't like the pull-out animation. I mean, the pull-out animation isn't bad, but I don't think it's great. I think it's doing too much with it, to be honest. Compared to the Karambit, it's more simplistic. Yeah, it's a very similar to the Karambit, but I just think it does everything much worse and just looks a lot worse. In my opinion, pretty overrated of a knife. I'm trying to debate where I should put it. I'll probably keep it. I'm gonna probably keep it at the end of mid tier. I'd probably say, when I say it's better than the Huntsman, I like the pull-out animation better than the Huntsman. I'm gonna keep it right there, just because just because of how overrated it is. Like I'd probably rather own one than the Huntsman, maybe, but I don't know. That's a hard choice actually. Now I'm gonna keep it in mid. I think I've actually gotten this list pretty fluent. But most are in the mid. Well, not most, but mid is the most filled up, and I don't know. I'm debating also putting it in below mid actually. I'm just trying to think. No, I keep it there. I keep it there. I think that's pretty good spot for it. Yeah, I maybe even move one of these up too. Honestly, I'm gonna move the Navage knife up one. I'm gonna put it in below average at the back. I do think it is not the greatest knife, but I can kind of get behind that. It probably does have the smallest blade in the game, definitely shortest. But yeah, I don't think it's like terrible. I might have said it was terrible earlier, but looking at it now, I definitely don't think it's terrible. But I don't know. It just is a very shitty version of the flip knife when I look at it. But I'm gonna put it at the end of below mid because I'm gonna give it a little bit more respect than that. But yeah, that's basically it. Pretty saucy list, I'd say so myself. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I might do a glove one or the decal thing, the paint finish. Or I'll do like an op tier list, something like that. I'll probably usually be biased as fuck, obviously, towards towards the skins I own because I've had a lot of the skins I own for a long time, like my ONS Hot Rod, my AK Hydroponic, my Op Lightning Strike, and my Deagle Blaze. I've had all those for so long that like I'm always gonna put those at like the top just because if there's something I liked more, I'd probably trade it to it. But yeah. So I mean, obviously it's gonna be biased. Like it's my list. I mean, obviously I'm gonna be biased towards it. But it's not really biased. It's just you liking it more, actually. I don't know. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, guys, and yeah.